Hi, this is the day one video for GD150 Digital Animation Fall 20. Take notes. I'm always surprised at the number of college students that show up first day without anything to write with or on, but now you have the chance to just hit the pause button and get something to write with. So if anything comes up in this video that you want to make sure you have down that is going to differ from your other classes and so on, you've got it down. Anything that I mentioned briefly but don't expand on this video will most likely be expanded on in the welcome videos, which is your first main assignment for this class, is to watch those and take a quiz on it. More about that later. Don't assume that if you've had me before that any of my quizzes will be the same as last semester. Everything's gone digital now, and unfortunately you have to really pay attention when I give the answers to the quizzes, because you have to put them in exactly as I show them. Otherwise, the computer's not smart enough to know that you were close with the spelling. So the one thing that I will hopefully get across from you in this first week of class is that announcements is the first and foremost important thing in this class to make sure you are staying on track. In fact, I'll just show you that real quick. You can start by going to the college's website, saddleback.edu, hitting the Canvas button up here at the top, log in with the same credentials you used to sign up for the class in the first place, and then your dashboard might look a little bit different than mine, but basically find the class that we're in together, click on it, it'll bring you inside of here, and then this tab button right here, announcements, is the key thing for you to figure out each week for the class what is going on. And of course I will go over it with you each meeting that we have, but that's the main source of information for this class to get you started on projects and assignments and so on. Now, you're taking a class that is online or remote instruction, whatever you want to call it. And maybe that is just because of the necessity of this fall semester, but there are a couple things that are the key to your success in an online class, and that is discipline and time management. To give you an example, when this class used to meet all in person, it met for 5 hours, and then you were still responsible for homework, which the college norm is for each unit of a class 3 hours per week. So this is a 3-unit class, so that would be 9 hours of homework on average per week. Then the class became a hybrid, and it only met for just under 3 hours, but then you still had to make up that other 2 hours of, which would have normally been lab time in the class. So now you've got, basically a chunk of 14 hours each week if you really want to get the right amount out of this class. Now, the welcome quiz must be completed by the day before our second class. So that would be Thursday, August 27th at 11:59 p.m. and completed with an A to avoid being dropped from the class. Now, that might sound like I'm asking a lot considering it's a fill-in-the-blank quiz, but all of the answers are given by you watching the welcome videos. So how would you get started on that? Well, just like I said before, always the first place to go is announcements. Click on that tab, and then you'll see for the day that it pertains to. So this is our first meeting. You'll have a Zoom link to get to that first meeting, and then I'll have a link to this video. But then to find out what's due before we meet for the second time, you would click on this announcement, and all the future announcements will be named with, they'll start with 4 and then the date that they apply for, which means the Zoom invite will be for that day, but all of the work is due before midnight the day before. So if you're looking to get started for that second week before class even meets on the first Friday, you can go in here. You can see the instructions here, and it says first thing to do is to watch the 6 videos. So obviously you want to do that first. Do all this stuff in order before you take the welcome quiz. Now, the welcome quiz probably won't show up until the first day of class anyhow, but you could still watch these, take notes, and be ready to fill in the blanks on that quiz. So if you don't take that quiz by Thursday, August 27th at 11:59 p.m., it's just like you never showed up for the class and you will be dropped. And notice in the welcome videos that a lot of times I say design and designers, but a big part of my teaching is this digital animation class. I've been teaching this for quite a few years now. So just if you hear me saying design and you're an animator, please don't get upset with me. Just substitute the word animation or animator in there and you'll be on track. Because this is the first semester this class has ever started out like solely online, expect there to be some mistakes, and help me out with them. Please shoot me an email, let me know about the mistakes. Maybe you'll find one in this video, maybe you find one in my actual lesson videos, like starting with the welcome videos. And the reason that those videos are actually not embedded right inside of the announcement, I explain in detail in the welcome videos, but just to give you a quick lesson why right now, let me just tell you this. What happens is those videos are embedded in another website called profsteveg.wordpress.com, and when you go to them, like for example the welcome videos, you'll see that what I do is I put a table of contents in here for your convenience, so that if you are watching the video for the second time because you're going back to learn about something or refresh your memory, you can look at the table of contents and say, oh yeah, that information that I want is starting at 6 minutes and 45 seconds into this video, and jump right to it. Also, as as a student find mistakes, or I do when I am rewatching the video, we'll start to make a little section here. And then what you do is, before you watch this video, you always look at the mistakes and you see that, oh, okay, at 2 minutes and 6 seconds in, there's going to be a mistake where Steve says teaching and he meant to say taking. So the video will make that much more sense to you. And with the videos being all in one place for all the different classes and colleges that I teach at, then I only have one place to make updates here, and it'll be a lot more accurate if I only have one place that I have to do it at. But as you can see, the links are right here, so if you ever forget what the name of this website is, not only is it on the syllabus and so on, but the links are right there to get you right to the page that the videos are on. Now, I've already said this, but let me just say it again and read along with you so that it makes sense here. So all assignments for the week are due by 11:59 p.m. on the Thursday prior to our next meeting. So let's say that it's week number 2 and I'm going through the announcement with you on Zoom, and I say, okay, week number 3 next week, this is what's due. What that means is that it's actually due at 11:59 p.m. the Thursday before our third meeting, so that when we meet in Zoom for that meeting, all of your work will have been turned in, and then I can pull up work for examples and questions and so on. So to spell it out, our third class meets on Friday the 4th of September at 9 a.m. The announcement will say for September 2020, but anything that is listed as being due for that class is turned in on the 3rd of September, one day before, by 11:59. When you first come into Canvas, you're greeted by this home page, and it has some nice important reminders in the syllabus and stuff like that. So actually I want to download the syllabus real quick by clicking here and telling you what kind of projects to expect in this class. Now this is a digital animation class, so we don't spend much time on the projects talking about traditional techniques, because the digital part kind of takes care of that for us in a way, although it's still a good topic to read up on and things like that. I'm not saying you can just forget about it if you want to be a professional animator. But anyway, our first project that we do kind of is a nod to the old school way of animating, and we still do it in the technology inside of Adobe Animate, but it's kind of like baby steps into the program and just like a refresher of what it was kind of like in the old days to have to do things frame by frame. Then we go into what's called classic tweening, which is using a lot more of the power inside the program to do things for us. And then we do a mix of advanced techniques, which you might hear me refer to as the midterm, because that's about the time in the class that it comes up. And then we do a storyboard. In the past, the storyboard was actually done on paper and then put on board. This semester, I'm going to give you the option of just doing it completely digital if you would prefer. But if you want the experience of doing it the old school way, I am certainly more than willing to let you do it that way and to critique it that way. You'll just have to take pictures of it to turn it in since we don't meet this semester. Then what we do is we take that storyboard, whether it was on paper or digital, and we set it to sound, because basically D, E, and F here all relate to the final project. Another way to think of it is these first three projects are kind of warm-ups. They're not overly creative, but the last three projects are you being totally creative, showing us what you can come up with, and then that you can animate it. So we go from a storyboard to a storyboard set to sound inside of Adobe Animate. And then the final thing that's due in the class is the final project, where you make an animation that has sound and so on. And of course, we go into detail a lot more on each thing as it comes up, but just wanted you to have a bit of an overview. And because everything can be done online, your one and main supply that you need is backup. You know, flash drives, cloud-based backup, just somewhere to store your files and never have to give the excuse of I lost all my work. And if you do want to gain that experience of doing a physical storyboard, then you can go to that profsteveg.wordpress.com site, go to helpful link in supplies, and here's an idea of this kind of supplies you would want if you were going to be mounting a storyboard. This stuff here, much friendlier than this one. And cutting tools, you need a steel ruler that has a cork back, so this is what the ruler looks like with the denominations, if you will, side up, and this is what the cork side up. And then this is a cutting mat that saves your table, and X-Acto knife, and a lot of blades for a lot of clean cutting. But like I said, you don't have to worry about that this semester unless you want to. So the only thing that you really need to do before class starts is get the software on your computer. Now, if you have a financial situation that won't allow you to get the software, the school and computers, the school has been sending out emails with facts on that, so you might want to go back through and check your emails. Also, there is going to be a way that you can access the labs remotely from your computer, meaning if you can't do the software, then you can access the labs from your computer, but Adobe is doing this license so that it's just like if there were classes in the classroom. So in other words, when there are other classes going on, you won't be able to access the labs. So if you can get the software, and there's deals out there that are as low as $40 for the semester, I would highly suggest that you do. But just know that if you're in a situation where you need the help, the school is doing everything that it can to make sure that you have the software and the hardware to be able to complete one of its courses, on a loaner type system. And then the other thing is just, like I said, something to write with and on for all of the videos and our first Zoom meeting, which you will get an invite for the first Zoom meeting via email from me, and then it will also be posted in that first announcement. And then if you want to get a head start and start doing stuff before class meets, then by all means go into the system and meaning Canvas, start watching the welcome videos, taking notes on them so that day one you'll be able to go in, take the quiz, and just fill in the answers that you have written down. I look forward to working with you this semester. I hope that it goes as smooth as possible, and like I said, please do let me know if you notice anything that needs to be fixed inside of Canvas or the videos.